Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Guys, I want to just give a shout out to some of my sponsors. All right, first and foremost, Michael D'Amore, singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer. Okay, go to his website, www.michaeldamore.com, and for $1.99 you can download some of his songs. And I always laugh because everyone knows I'm this huge Elvis fan, right? I always say Elvis is up here and nobody can touch him, but guess what? Michael's close under him, all right? He's that incredible. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Okay, he's that incredible. Check him out, guys. Okay, and then we've got Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer. His website, www.mzanman.com. He is off the charts, singer, entertainer, and he will have you cracking up in your seats. All right, he does so much fun stuff when he's entertaining, and he's a great singer as well. Okay, John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, and tribute artist. And the coolest part about this is the former Philadelphia mayor gave him the title of the official Rocky impersonator. And I named him the man of many faces. He does over 40. He's off the charts. And of course, my two favorite are Rocky and The Godfather. You think the Italian in me's coming out or what? His website, www.johnmonforto.com. Now, on a more serious note, Paula Ann from Ablaze Entertainment and Freedom Rings Festival, helping survivors of human trafficking to live a life of normalcy. Her website, www.freedomringsfestival.com. And the Geri Petito Show is also one of her sponsors. Last but certainly not least, Anthony Hudson, presidential candidate 2024. Kevin Duncan, vice presidential candidate 2024. People before politics. And guys, I usually don't get involved in politics, but I made a decision this year to do so because he's running nonpartisan first off. So it's not like we're, at each other's wits' ends, right? He's trying to bring everybody together. And he's just a regular guy, truck driver from Michigan. Let me tell you, he's in his late 40s. We're getting him noticed. The president even knows who he is, and he got a photo with the president's wife, and the president wouldn't come down and get the photo, okay? So here's what's so cool about Anthony and why I think he needs to be in the White House. Well, because I was told I can make a vegan dinner if he is, okay? Now, the main reason, guys, is I was invited with our other producer here at Hamilton Radio, Ruben, to Yuma, Arizona this year, and we got to spend 5 days with Anthony and Kevin at the borders. We spent the 5 days with the Border Patrol, the Sheriff Department, we met the mayor, and we saw firsthand what's really going on at the borders. We were there sometimes till 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm here to tell everybody that we are being lied to. So if anybody wants the truth, get in touch with me. I will share it with you. All right, it's heartbreaking what's going on, and being there changed my life. So having said that, so guys, I always bring it, right? Well, honey, I am bringing it again today, and we've got such a cool show going on today, okay? So we are all radio show hosts, and we are all good friends, and we are merging today. Radio show hosts merge, right? So I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves. You know me, I'm Geri Petito. A little louder.
It's off?
There you go.
Marco Panting.
Okay.
Ava Holly.
I'm Ricardo Richard.
Okay. So not only are we all radio show hosts, okay, we don't live that far from each other. Marco's now in Florida, but he came up for the holidays, and I'm so happy we finally all got together here. So I'm going to have each one talk a little bit about what's going on in their journey. So Ava, let's start with you.
Oh boy. It's a big journey. I'm a cancer survivor this year. October was 1 year cancer free, and it's been a crazy journey. Also, since the pandemic, my business, which is an umbrella over the entertainment industry, we do a lot of things, mostly special events, but we work with indie authors and work with various different things. We haven't really done much events since the pandemic, and I'm looking to move my business into one location. It's been like 2.5 years, and we're still working on it. I'm hoping by this spring we will have that accomplished. So it has been a journey over the past couple of years for sure. But great to be here.
Wait, we're not done. Ava's eye bags, come on.
Yeah. Ava's eye bags still around. We changed manufacturers, and so we have like a smaller company making them. All the bags give back to different charities across the country, and like I said, we got so many projects that some things are on the front burner, some things are on the middle burner, some things are on the back burner, but the bags are still around. We sold a lot of them for the holidays, so very excited about that.
Okay, you're also an author. Show your book. Tell them the title of your book.
Yes. You can always find a flush in there. And these are all experiences in public restrooms that have happened to me. And then after each story, there's a little tip on how that particular story relates to something to do with your business, whether you're starting a new business or needing to tweak some things in your business. There's a lot of good jewels in here. Running my father's department store helped with that a lot. Yet I didn't ask for these stories. They found me. So the next book is going to be, you can always find a flush in there again, and it's going to be other people's stories that happen, and you'll be able to send them in, and we'll get them all published together. So that was kind of fun.
Now tell everyone about your 2 shows.
So thanks to Geri Petito, I'm a host here on Hamilton Radio, and I'm also a host on the WBNN network, also thanks to Geri Petito. And I love it. We do Ava's Casual Chat on both shows. This one is the second Sunday of each month, and then on the WBNN show, we're the 4th Wednesday of each month.
So I'm going to have Marco talk next because I want to piggyback with Ava because you guys used to do a show together. Tell everyone who you are and talk about that as well.
I'm Marco Panting, and I'm the host for Teens with Dreams, and I'm also a substitute teacher in Florida.
That's it.
Tell us about Mr. Panting Productions.
Oh, I'm not working much on Mr. Panting Production.
Yes, you are. It's on the back
out
burner.
there, but
it's out there.
It's in the process.
All right, let me talk a little and then you talk a little on his behalf. I don't know why he's so shy today, but I also brought him along, and I was also a sponsor of his. And
Yes.
this kid, the reason why I did that was because I saw so much potential in him. All right, Teens with Dreams. I mean, he was a teenager, and he's still interested in helping all kids reach their potential and reach their dreams. Ava, what do you have to say about him?
He reminds me of my daughter. They have like a sort of an old soul, even though they're modern and current. They have an old soul, and Marco has an old soul. He sees something in people beyond what they see in themselves. So he's able to be a mentor, be someone could talk to about their, issues, and he's always, he comes from very humble background, so he knows he's been through a lot, and he can relate to a lot of people's situations. So he's always a good ear and a good mouthpiece for somebody that is looking to, get out of a situation or move forward, or just even some friendly advice.
Okay, so do you want to talk about your journey with your getting here and being a citizen?
It's been a process.
Okay.
Years.
So after 20 years being here, I mean, I'm raised here. I was born in Honduras, but I've been here for 20 years, and after 20 years, I was able to get my green card.
Yep.
It's been a long process, but I've gotten it. I mean, it's very hard to be an immigrant. I mean, I came here with a visa, but our visa expired So getting a job here was bad. It was horrible. Getting rejected. Trying to go to college when you had to pay everything out of pocket. It's a hard journey. It's very hard,
But you did it.
but I did.
See, that's why I wanted him to talk a little bit about that as well, based on me being in Yuma, Arizona at the borders watching all the illegals trying to come in. And here's what's sad, guys. My father came the legal way. He was sent on a boat from Italy alone at age 14, not knowing the language, to meet an uncle he never met. And I have the papers on it. Okay, there's my father's name, the date, the name of the ship, the Volcania. I was like, this is unbelievable, legally. And the reason why that's important is because what we witnessed at the borders, mostly everyone trying to come around the illegal borders, because we also went to the legal one. The illegal one, everyone had kids with them, and the majority of those kids weren't even their own. They were sex trafficking the kids. That's the problem, and that's what we're being lied to about. Okay? So, honestly, get in touch with me if you want the truth. So that's why I wanted you to bring that up. Tell everybody how old you are.
24.
Okay? And he did it the right way. And 20 years of trying. Okay? I had to say that. So I love this kid. All right? And you're going to be doing another show. You're going to start again in January, right?
Yes, I am.
Teens with Dreams, right?
Yep.
So do you know what days yet or any of that? What night?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're
Not
going to
yet.
work all
And
that
we're
out.
in the works.
And we will let you know, okay? All right, cool. So now, over here, baby, this kid right here, Ricardo Richard. Take the mic.
Hey everybody, I'm here to talk about. I'm just here, amongst other great people and everything like that. And I just also wanted to commend him, for keep going. And I don't know anybody personally, that dealt with immigration, but
Yeah, you do.
but yeah, it's like, so just shout out to you for getting to where you needed to be, because that's amazing. So yeah, I have my book. It's called Trauma, Heal People, Heal People. The work is in the healing. I'm really, really excited about this book. I actually got a chance to actually go back and read some pages last night, and I think it really hit me like, wow, I really can't believe I'm an author. When you talk about humble beginnings, like me growing up in inner city, just not even knowing this was something that was possible. So I'm just so grateful to God for allowing me to do this. And so yeah.
No, not so
Well,
yeah.
wasn't it
What is
Geri?
going on with you guys?
Wasn't it Geri that helped you get that started? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
she-
talk about your series that started
Come
first.
on.
Yes. So I have a series called Hurt People, Bitter and Broken. It's on YouTube, you guys. We have 3 seasons. I would love for you guys to subscribe and check it out. And then it's the book. The book is actually the sequel to the series. So if you read the book, you'll get a good understanding, but you will have to go back and actually watch all 18 episodes of the first 3 seasons, and then you'll have a better understanding of it all. So yeah, the book or whatever. I remember not the first time I met Geri, maybe a couple of times after. She was like, "Yeah, we got to do an episode called Heal People, Heal People." So it was something that I always kept in the back of my mind. And then when I was doing the book, just trying to come up with names, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be called Trauma, but then that's when I was like, Heal People, Heal People. It just had a ring to it. And so I had to give all the credit to Geri because she actually gave me that name, and it was just perfect for the book. And then now, the book is on Amazon, so I'm just excited. And the comments that I see, on the reviews on Amazon, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe it, so I'm just excited about it, and excited to see people reaching out to me like I cried, or it touched me, or it, so I'm just like, wow, I'm just excited.
So tell them about your radio show.
So I have a radio show on WBNN. It's called Trenton Makes. So it's named after the city I'm from. So I'm from the city of Trenton. And then I also have another show that I work on. Is out of Philly. It's called The Culture. So that's a panel of so many different other radio hosts. We talk definitely about God, and then we interview celebrities and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool. And then I'm also right now working on my own show called The Valley. It's going to be on YouTube soon. And I had a real tough conversation with my father, and it almost my dad was crying. It almost brought me to tears. And I think I put a clip up on Facebook the other day, and it was getting some good reactions. I feel like as men sometimes we're not able to be vulnerable, and a lot of times I feel like with a lot of that stuff, sometimes when you suppress a lot of that, it becomes anger. And then a lot of times for us men, when we do express ourselves, sometimes it comes out with anger and frustration. So it was just important for me to let other men know that that it's okay to express yourself, that it doesn't make you weak, to express yourself. And then also, I think for me, it was healing to have a conversation with my father. And I didn't realize by doing that, I got to know him. Not as my father, but as a person, and I'm hoping that when people watch the episode, it will cause a ripple effect. It will cause other people to have conversations with their father or their mother, or if there's some type of trauma there, from childhood, that they'll go back to the beginning and do the work.
So, wow, okay. So, can I share a little bit about meeting you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, and this is where God comes in, because I always say these are God moments, but you have to listen. You have to listen, okay? So here I am, right, this white girl, and I couldn't sleep one night, and I get a message. It had to be like 1 o'clock in the morning from this young black guy, right? And my daughter-in-law is black, so I could say this, guys, okay? My granddaughter's half black. I could talk about this. So anyway, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and he says, I think you called me ma'am. You probably called me ma'am. I hate that. But anyway, ma'am, can I talk to you? Now, who's going to say yes to that? Who is going to say yes to that? But God said, say yes. And I listened. So we talked on Messenger. Okay,
Yep.
but we talked, our voices. And he was kind of drunk. And he was outside of a club. And he wasn't doing well that night. And he saw my book, online, and said, can we talk? He wasn't an alcoholic, but he struggled with other issues.
Yeah.
And we talked and prayed. And from that moment on, he stole a piece of my heart, and he's been in my life ever since. And what he has done with his life, guys, is unbelievable. Again, he's a teacher, right? And now an author. But his documentary, Hurt People, is so amazing. Please, please, please check it out. And you've got to check out his book as well. All right? Because hurt people.
Yeah.
And healed people heal people.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But here's the thing. You can't be healed until you're hurt. Right?
That's good.
It's true.
And also, you got to make sure that you do the work too. Like, I realized that God is an important factor of my life. Even when we talk about me being, young and partying and turning up and drinking and having fun. And like she said, it was a God moment. Me reaching out to Geri, I didn't know her, and reaching out to her, she was so encouraging to me and just telling me about Jesus. And I knew God was calling me back because I had knew about Jesus once before, but I was in such a dark place in my life at that time, and I was running away from the call on my life. And so what I would do is I would go out, I would party, I would drink, and and the fact that he used Geri in that moment to reach out to me, it was just God just showing me, no, I still love you. Like right now, you're not doing what I'm asking you to do. I still love you. You can still turn to me. You repent and come to me, as you are. And I think even then I was having a hard time with, I got to be perfect. No, like you just come to God as you are, and God to do the changing as you just be consistent with him. So I think God for Geri all the time. If I don't tell you, I thank you so much, because that was a really dark time. And I'm not ashamed of sharing my dark moments because all of that stuff made me who I am. And it's this scripture that I was reading this morning that came to me. It's Romans 8:28. It says, for we know that all things work together for those that love God, for those that are called according to his purpose. And I say that all the time because when you're going through hell on earth, like you'll be like, God, how are you going to put this together? Like sometimes you doubt yourself. You don't know if God is really going to come through, and not even realizing the whole time God is working things together, So in your dark seasons, just trust God. And I was reading this morning Acts, and Paul was going through this hard time. He was in jail, and Jesus just met him there and was telling him, be of good cheer. So I want to tell somebody out there, be of good cheer. No matter what you're going through, just trust in God all the way, the long way, because he will be there for you.
So, okay. Ava, go ahead.
I think God sends us messages, to me.
Yes.
But he also sends us messengers.
Yes.
And you were the messenger for him. And I've had those moments in my life too. And I really think that as we get older, and I say this all the time, we learn to listen to what's happening inside of us a little more, like you said, inside of us. Like you said, you have to listen. And if you don't listen, you can just step right over it, walk right through it, and not get that message and not get that messenger. So
100%, because, and we'll have you talk about your journey also with God, because here's the thing. I hear this all the time. Well, how come all these bad things are happening if there's a God, and to children and this and that? First of all, read his book and then you'll find out why. And check out his documentary and you'll really find out why. But I'm here to tell you a little something. If you only focus on the bad things that are happening and how could God allow that to happen, even though we have free will and we're the ones doing it, okay? How about praising God when things are good? And how about thanking God when things are, I don't want to say good, thanking God anyway in all your trials? Because here's the thing. He gave us free will, right? And I always say this, I never want to live without it. And thank you, God, for free will. But with free will comes our choices, and with our choices come our consequences. So, we can't just look at all the bad and say, well, God, why is this? No, we're doing it. But again, what Ava was saying about, we have to listen. If we want to do God's work or be a messenger, we have to listen. So, Marco, talk a little bit about your journey with God.
It's been a long journey. I mean, I've been through a lot. For me, it's been very hard because I've always been a person, I've always tried to find ways to overcome or become someone. But the churches I've been to, all they do is they just hurt you. They just try to say just because I don't go every day, it's they think I'm doing other things, and those things has pushed me away. And right now I moved to Florida in February, and I haven't been in church in 3 years. I mean, I went with my mom a couple times to her church, but and I've been trying to go back to church. And one day I was running in the park, and I see it was two young people. I think it was this guy and his girlfriend, his wife, and then some other guy. And the crazy thing is they gave me a pamphlet, with the word of God, and it's crazy. I was running that day, and they gave me one, and I was looking for a church. And I'm like, wow, So it was and then I went to the church, and then I liked it, and then that's where I'm going at now. So it's just been because all those things that I've been through, I didn't want to go back to church. Not because I hate God or I hate Jesus. Those things pushed me away. So through the years, I've been struggling with that. Even though I love Jesus and I want to be at church, but those things pushed me away.
Not everything is a good fit. I mean, no matter how you believe, you have to go where you feel comfortable, and God sent you that messenger.
But the thing is that a lot of people has also told me this: you're not there for the people. You're there to look for God.
So I have a story I want to share with you that's going to blow your mind about what you just said. I owned a poker league. Yes, that's right. I'm a Christian, and yes, I owned a poker league, okay? Called Midnight Owl Poker in Mercer County. And guess where I had a game once a week? At Hooters in Mercer Mall. Yes, that's right. And I was honored to interview the manager, Therese. She was here last week, okay? She's still the manager, and she's like a counselor to these young women, okay? So I used to get judged all the time by Christians, and this is what I would say to them all the time. Listen carefully. I can't save people in churches, but I certainly can save people in bars. So I can't tell you how many people accepted Jesus through my poker league in bars, and I'm going to share a Hooters story with all of you. My mouth to God's ears, all right? So the game was over, and all my poker buddies knew they better never use the Lord's name in vain, okay, at any of my games. So every once in a while, I'd walk out of the room, and I'd hear somebody say, Jesus Christ. I'd walk in. Hey, oh, sorry, Jerry, cheese and rice, they would say. So they showed me respect, all right? So one night, the game is over at Hooters, or we had a break or something, and they used to have the high tables at Hooters, up against the glass by the doors. And the young manager, Dave, who I'm still in touch with, he moved away, he was sitting on the high stool up against the glass. So as I'm walking, he's like, Jared, come here. But two guys were sitting here. So he was up against the glass there, and I walk over here. I'm standing in between the two young guys. I put my phone down, and at the time, on one side, I had my grandchildren's photo, but on the other side, I had Elvis and Jesus in heaven. So, and this was an Elvis Jesus moment because I just put my phone down, and it happened to be on that side. And I'm talking through these young men to Dave, the young manager. One of them says, "Oh my gosh, I'm the biggest Elvis fan." He goes, he was in his 20s. I said, "Honey, I am." He said, "But I'm a Christian too." And he runs out and he gets Elvis gospel CD to show me. He's like, "I love Elvis and I love Jesus." I said, "This is so amazing." Now, if I didn't put my phone down that way, this wouldn't have even happened, right? So don't tell me that wasn't God.
Yeah.
I say to him, "What about your buddy over here?" And he says, "No, he's a tough one. He left God." So I say to him, "Sweetie, why did you leave God?" And he says, "Because all the people in the churches are hypocrites, and I hate going in there, and I hate the way they make me feel, and blah, 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 blah. And religion." I said, "And you're right. I feel the same way." I said, "Not everybody, but most of them. I agree with you 100%. I feel the same way." I said, "But let me ask you a question. What'd you think about that man Jesus? Because he really did exist. Even scientists can tell you that. Oh, that man Jesus, even though I don't believe he was the Son of God or God, I do believe he was a really great man, and he tried to heal people and help people." So guess what I said? "Well, you can't believe he was a really great man if you don't believe he was who he said he was, because that would make him a blasphemer, and that would make him bring millions and millions of people to not the real God. Think about that, right?" He says, "Oh my gosh, tell me more." I said, "And the Old Testament was written thousands of years before the new one. And even scientists will prove when these books were written. How could they have ever foretold in the Old Testament, thousands of years before, who the Messiah was going to be in the New Testament and how he was going to be born, how he was going to be crucified?" And here's the kick in the butt, guys. Not a bone was broken. Not a bone was broken. He was the only one ever crucified without a bone broken. If you watch The Passion, Mel Gibson's movie, it's almost 100% to the Bible. You'll see why not a bone was broken, okay? But everyone else had to have a bone broken, their knees. So all I'm doing is saying that I agree with all this stuff. We were never meant to have religion. We were never meant to listen to man. So go with your heart, guys. Okay, whatever your heart tells you, go with your heart. So now, I am an author as well. And my book is called "I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass." Because 32 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 32 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smart ass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I was also judged by many because of my book cover. I said, "Open the Bible." I was judged by a pastor, and I could even talk about it because he's been here many times, Pastor Eric. And when he met me, he said, "You do love God." And then now he's even had me on his live Zooms for his church. They all know about me.
Wow.
Okay, so it's really cool what God is doing. So, guys, my book, I talk about recovery differently than you're being taught. All right, and I never tell anyone to not go to meetings if that's your only support group. But don't ever, ever fall into the lies that you are powerless over anything. All right? You do not have a disease for life. You were not born with it. You have a dis-ease of the brain cells while using. And it could be anything, not just drugs. It could be gambling, food, whatever it is, right? Whatever your mind takes over. And I guarantee you, in 1 year, if you listen to me, you will not have any issues with any addiction. I'm a nutritional health coach and I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. You can get my book on Amazon. You can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Barnes & Noble, and you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. Okay? Please, please reach out. And subscribe to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. A lot of cool things are going on. So, Ava, take the mic.
Take the mic. You're, I want you to read your Utilizing Gifts and Talents because that's one of my favorite poems out of your book. And if you don't know, Geri's a great poet. I'm a published poet too, and I love hearing your poems.
Thank you.
And but she's so eloquent when she talks about what she believes in, and I think it's just passion. When you have passion, like you do, when you have passion for what you do, people can see that, and those people will follow. And I think that's important. So, could you do us the honor of reading your Utilizing Gifts and Talents?
I will, as long as you read something from your book today as well, and you read something from your book, because you're cracking me up with some of the stuff in your book.
All right, while you're reading yours, I'll look for something
Okay,
short.
and you too. You look for
Yes,
something.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. So don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. Make sure people smile with the breaking dawn.
Love it.
I love it too. That's one of my favorites. Awesome, Geri. Giving hope. Giving hope. That's all about giving the hope.
So what do we got, girl?
All right. So this one's flush number 8, and I love this one. It's called. So now you gotta kind of practice how to say that. It's okay. So wait, I'm going to tell you how to practice. So here's the story. Now remember the title of this one. For when we get into it, you need to have it down to get the idea. So you say it fast, and if you can, even use the little hand gesture of closing your fingers together and then pulling it back down. So if you want to practice, go ahead. I'll wait. So we all got to go. Okay, cool. So you remember to say it fast and do the hand movement too. That always helps. So this story takes place in the casino. If nothing else, the stories that are related to the casino industry are incredible. So guys, I spent 25 years in the casino industry in various different jobs there. More years than not in one job. But anyway, let me continue with the story. I would say almost as much fun as the other stories. Well, maybe not. The other ones were lived out by me, so they would definitely be more interesting from my viewpoint. Nonetheless, I have a few great stories from other places in other spaces. Well, in the restroom. Just other stories as they were told to me. On this night, I get the story from a friend, a player who has just had a little too much to drink, returns from the restroom. I'm guessing in a state of 1-on-1 being the most sober, or 1 to 10, with 1 being the most sober and 10 being lying somewhere on the floor. He would be around 4 or 5. Nothing too crazy. So he returns from the restroom with this great story. After he was done, he decided he would count his money after he got back onto the casino floor. I guess he was taking advice from that popular song, "You never count your money when you're sitting at the table." So he's counting his money in the restroom. He tells us that he dropped about $100 in paper money into the urinal. Funny thing is, they work on a motion sensor. We discussed how how much fun they can be in a previous story. Anyway, now here it comes, so wait for it. And all of a sudden, shoo, and the money's gone. Nothing like coming to the casino and really pissing your money away. So here's the business tip. Sometimes we have to take a risk. We have to try new things, or we will never know what will work or what won't work. Sometimes some things will work, and sometimes it's like throwing money down the drain. We can always learn from these experiences, so take a risk. Go out on a limb. After all, that's where the fruit is.
Okay, I love that. All right, that's pretty cool.
That was
You crack me up with that.
yes.
So,
Yes,
oh,
yeah.
wait. I never said what happened with the young guy at Hooters. I forgot to tell you. Wait, no, this is vital. Guess what? After I said what I said to him, he said, "You're right, I want to accept Jesus." I said, "Where?" He said, "Let's go in your car." We went in my car and prayed. He comes out of the car. All my poker players are smoking outside. He's running through the parking lot. "I just accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. If I die tonight, I'm going to heaven." And that was at Hooters, guys.
Wow.
Okay, how cool was that? All right?
At least he wasn't pissing his
Amazing.
money away, right?
Right? So now, all right, so that's pretty funny. So
Yes.
let's talk. Wait, let me ask her about her book, and then you're up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there were a few things you were posting and all this about, and I said, "Did this really happen to you?" And she said, "Yes." So everything in there has happened to her.
Yep.
All right. Seinfeld, remember that scene with Elaine in the bathroom and there was no toilet paper and she's asking the
God.
girl next to her,
Been there,
"Can
done
you
that."
spare a square?" She wouldn't give her a square. She said she can't spare a square.
Wait, so that happened to me, and it's a story in the book where I'm there, and my sister's in the next stall, right? And I have no toilet paper, so I said, "Could you pass me some toilet paper?" She goes, "I'm 3 feet from the wall." I'm like, what does that mean? I'm 3 feet from the wall. So we worked it out. But that story made the book because I'm like, what do you mean you're 3 feet from the wall?
Ladies, I always check before I sit.
Now we
Trust
check.
me. All right? All right, so now, Ricardo, let's talk a little bit about.
All right, so trauma heal people. So I'm gonna read a part. So I wrote this. This actually, you guys, this is Jerry's book.
Yay.
So
Yay.
I wanna just. So I says, thank you so much, Jerry, for your support over the years. It means more than you know. Love. I put my real name, Richard Green. All right. So I'm gonna read my dedication that I read at your, on your show. So this is my dedication. This book is dedicated to all who have suffered trauma and have overcome it. And overcoming it. In addition, I dedicate it to the misfits, the underdogs, the throwaways, the rejects, and to those who feel like giving up. Don't give up. Namely, the high school dropouts, the prostitutes, those battling addictions, the teen mother, the absent father, the abandoned, the gangsters, the misled, the outcast, and the unloved. And those rejected as well. It takes only one day, one moment, one decision to make up your mind that it's time to make a change. For anyone who has ever felt unsure, insecure, unseen, unsung, or unheard, this is for you. You always matter. So that's trauma, you guys.
That
Make
is
sure y'all get
so beautiful.
Love it. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
that. Yeah.
And I got my book here today, so you're gonna
Yes,
sign
I gotta
that for
sign
me later,
it.
right? Yeah.
So, all right, Ricardo, take the mic. I want you to encourage someone right now because someone needs to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
So, talk to them.
So yesterday when I was coming from home from church, and yesterday was a lot because it was my grandmother's birthday. She's passed away, and my cousin had just lost her mom. And I remember just going home yesterday, and I'm like, yo, it's the spirit of heaviness, like not even over my family, but I believe it's a spirit of heaviness over the world. I believe, that we're in the last days, and so I just want to, again, when I was reading this morning, and I got up and I made some time for God, and I just want to say anybody out there, to pray. Prayer is so important, and I remember hearing somebody say, in faith, like when we pray, we have to remember, like we literally have access to God, and that's really amazing when you think about it. Like when we're praying, sometimes we may seem like, oh, we just talking to ourselves and nobody hear us, but to be able to be heard by God is so amazing in itself. Even sometimes when you feel alone, I want to let you know that you are not alone, because even when I go through the scriptures, like God, Joseph went through a lot, being rejected by his brothers and everything like that. And he was in prison, and in the scripture says God was with him. If you know the story of Gideon, the stuff that he was going through, it says God was with him. All the stuff that went through Paul, he was stoned and shipwrecked and beaten. And it says that, listen, God showed up when he was in prison. So there's so many stories in the word of God where it tells us like that God is with us. And so I want to let you know that God is with you, especially to the believer. Don't lose faith. Don't allow yourself to be discouraged because there's always greater. I remember being 16 years old, and I was going through such a hard time in my life where I didn't feel like nobody understood me. And there was times where I used to run away from home, and I would go from one parent house to the next. And I remember telling mom, that's when I realized the enemy was real. Because at 16, I remember having a thought of suicide, right? I never struggled with suicide or anything, but I did have a thought at 16 years old. And I remember telling my mom, and she just told me, like, you know what, son? The sun will eventually come out, And I thought to myself, I remember 17 years old, literally feeling the presence of the Holy Spirit, right? So I then knew, like, oh, God is really real, because I remember literally feeling like I was floating, like, and I was literally standing on the ground, So even through our trials and tribulations and our seasons where we're down and out, there's a God that, again, he can make it make sense. And when we look at Jesus and everything that what he went through, he went through it all for a reason. He went through it for us. So when I go and do my book about trauma, and the people that know me know the things that I went through, like losing my brother. My brother was murdered 2 years ago. From losing my stepmother over a year and a half ago from cancer, or losing my grandma, just all back to back. Like, I had to put my trust in God, because if I didn't, I knew that if left to my own devices, I would have further messed up my life even more. And I just want to thank God for saving me, because there's another scripture in the Bible that says it was good that I was afflicted. And I realized through my afflictions, God was able to use me, and still using me, to let you guys know that's watching that God is able to do exceedingly above that you could ever imagine. But the thing is, we have to go to God. A lot of times we're listening to everybody else's ear but God. Sometimes we go to our friends, or sometimes we go to our parents or our counselors, and all those things are good, but don't allow other people's voices to become louder than God's. Because this world will get really busy. And I was listening to something on my way. I was listening to Joyce Myers. She talked about the busyness of life, and how a lot of times we'll say, oh, we're so busy. But when we're going through pain, we know how to make time for God then. So I would say make time for God, because he's willing and waiting. His arms is reached out. And I didn't realize how much God loved me. And I want to tell somebody out there, God loves you so much. And it's an enemy, it's the devil, who he hates you so much, because he knows what it's like to be up under God, but because of his pride, he was rejected out of heaven. But God loves us so much, and he shows us every day by allowing us to wake up every day with breath in our body. And so you still have a purpose. You are still loved despite your shortcomings. And I just want to tell you again to keep going and trust something bigger and better than you. When I was going through, last thing, I don't want to take too much time, but when I was going through, and God used Geri, right? I would have never knew that in that moment that he would use somebody who I didn't know. And you may not know me, and God right now in this moment is using me to let you know that he's there. And a lot of people know that my series was brought about, my best friend had passed away. So I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life. And there's times, you guys, where I don't even know how I'm still standing, from all the deaths, from all the rejection, from growing up in the inner city, from being rejected, from, being, when I was younger, I struggled with reading and writing, and now I'm writing, So, again, God, he's the answer. And I thank Geri again. I thank you guys all for being here. And I just want people to know that God is the answer, and that, if Jesus could bring you to it, he could bring you through it, and faith over feelings, because we're not going to always feel good. We're not always going to feel like God is there, but that's when our faith kicks in.
Amazing.
Can
Thank you
I
for
add
that.
a quick story?
Yep, and then we're going to give him the mic.
I just admire you listening to you talk. Yet I want to tell the listening audience that we're not coming to you because we think we're perfect, because everybody here has been through something, and everybody including you, everybody out there, has been through something. So I'm going to share a quick story. My husband's brother committed suicide. And if you thought, you know, oh, we knew that was going to happen to that person. No, this person was, if you had a list of people that you thought would commit suicide, he wouldn't even be anywhere near the list. And the weird thing is, he did it on his wife's birthday. He did it in a way that his 13-year-old son would find him. And I never thought that my sister-in-law would come through this. I never thought my husband would come through this. And, not everybody has suicide that they can talk about in their family. And I have to tell you that through the grace of God, however we believe in that God, my sister-in-law is fine. She's got a new man in her life. Her son, who found his dad, is now married, and we went to his wedding last year. And his daughter's a teacher. And you get through it. So nothing is so bad that you need to take your life. There's always somebody to talk to. Geri, Ricardo, Marco, myself, there's always someone to talk to. So don't think that we're talking to you because we think we're perfect. Nobody's perfect. And, you never know what somebody else is going through. So sit down and talk with someone, even if it's just a good friend.
That was beautiful, Ava. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, that was good.
So, Marco, I want to give you the mic because you're going to start up your shows again, Teens with Dreams. Talk to some teens listening that need to hear something you might have to say.
I would definitely say don't give up. Always in my high school years, I've always was like the weird kid, like I didn't go to parties. I didn't do much things that young teens were doing. I was always just like I wanted to be different. Like at 16, I had a business. I had my photography and video business. Like I was working already. I was doing good. And just with being around that, you see so many kids doing this and those things. But I could just say, just be yourself. Don't be scared. If they want to be cool, they want to be bullies. Just ignore them. I tell my students that all the time. I have fourth graders. I'm a long-term sub for a fourth grade class, and their teacher left the school this year because she couldn't take them. And I talk to them all the time. I'm like, I'm here because I love you guys, and they laugh. They're like, no, they don't care. But since I've been there, it's been like 2 months or a month that I've been with them. They've changed. I tell them, there's a lot of kids there that need love, and a lot of them just want to be followers, and they follow the kids that want to be bad. And I tell the ones that I know that's good and just wants to be cool because that one's being cool, I tell them, don't be a follower, be yourself. That's not you, and I just motivate them. And with the teens, I would say, just if you're going through a lot, just keep going,
Keep going.
And the big thing I say is be yourself. Like, if you want to be different, be different.
Right.
Yeah. Can I say one little thing? I just feel like with me being a teacher, right, and what he just said, it kind of convicted me and just made me realize, like, I got to change my heart posture. Because there's sometimes being a teacher, it could be very overwhelming. And sometimes I'm like, God, I don't want to do this no more. But, what you just saying, it just made me realize I need to change my heart posture. Because I don't know what these kids is going through on a day-to-day basis. And God, I know he got me there for a reason. So I have to fix my attitude.
Bullies are being bullied. Absolutely. Yeah. There's not a child out there who's a bully who is not being bullied at home. And I'm going to share a story with everybody to make you really, really get it, guys, okay? So I grew up in Long Island City, New York, and my brother was obese as a baby at birth. He was almost 13 pounds, and they thought he was going to die. So my brother struggled with obesity his whole life. Well, he was always made fun of in school, but he was the biggest kid in the whole school. So having an Italian father, he would get upset every time he came home crying. He's like, but you're bigger than everybody. Like, stand up for yourself. Well, I was this tiny little thing, because I'm only 5'3" now, but I was this tiny little thing. And we used to have to walk to school with my mom while my mom held his hand, and I would jump in my uniform and run ahead of them and all that. Well, the two biggest bullies were brother and sister. And the brother's gone. He died. He was in prison, AIDS, the whole bit. He died. The sister to someone like me, I was in 4th grade, this tiny little thing, she seemed 6 feet, and she's still very tall. Well, she made my brother cry so bad one day that I said, okay, God, tomorrow I'm going to die, but I don't care. And I had a whole plan. Yes, true story. I had a whole plan. So my mom's walking us, and we have to go around the block. So I'm running ahead of them. I'm going to just skip quicker, playing. I run around the block. I climb up on, and, we had little stoops. So I climb on a railing, and I'm holding on to the awning. And I said, okay, God, I'm just going to get one good shot, and I don't care if she kills me. Okay, God. Yep. She opens the door. I punch her right in the face. She gets me on the ground, beats the crap out of me. I'm bleeding. My uniform's ripped. My mother comes around the corner screaming. She runs away. And I jump up. I'm crying. I'm bleeding. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I don't care. I got one shot in for you, and I got one shot in for you. I end up in court for that and beating up other bullies. I end up with a juvenile delinquent card at 10 years old. The Long Island City Police are trying to help me find the card so I could have it as a souvenir because they said I deserve it. Okay? All right. So here's what I want to share with you. About 2 years ago, I see her name on Facebook, and I reach out to her. And I said, do you remember me? And my name's Geri Petito on Facebook, but it's Geraldine. She said, you're Geraldine. And I said, can we talk? So she calls me, and she said, first of all, can you tell your brother how sorry I am? We were so mean to him. And I said, I will. And this is why they were such bullies. They were so abused at home that when they were bad, their father would put their hands over fire on the stove. Okay? So I'm saying that to make everybody really understand that the kid being bullied absolutely needs help, but the kid that's bullying at that point probably needs more help. So I wish we could do something in this country to focus on helping even the bullies, because we just want to get them in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, they need help. And, I'm working on something. I'm going to try my best to get this out there because I really want to help the bullies. So that's why I fell in love with this young man with Hurt People, because it's 110% truth. And I just wish we could all get on board with this. And if you see a child being bullied, please reach out to the bully as well. Okay, don't just yell at the bully and tell them to stop bullying. Please give that bully a hug and ask them if they need help too. Okay? So now, guys, I want everybody to tell them your websites, if you have anything, how they can get in touch with you. Talk to the camera.
Okay. So you guys can find me on Facebook. That's the only social media I got right now is Facebook. So you can find me as Marco Panting on Facebook.
Okay. Young man?
You guys can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. It's Ricardo Richard, RICARDO, RICHARD. You guys can also follow my book is on Amazon. Trauma Healed People Heal People. The work is in the healing. Sorry, y'all. I'll be talking fast sometimes, but the work is in the healing. Also, my YouTube page. I would love for you guys to check out. Hurt People, Bitter and Broken series. It's my baby. Now my book is my baby, so I don't have no kids, but they my babies. And I would love for you guys to check out the series. It was a labor of love, and as I was writing and going through that difficult time, I didn't realize at the time I was healing. So I would love for you guys to check out Bitter and Broken web series and subscribe and be on the lookout for the Volley podcast.
Okay. Miss Ava.
Yes. YouTube and I don't get along very well. In fact, I'm working with one of Jerry's friends to fix that. So I have a YouTube channel, but it's like non-existent because it doesn't like me. So you can find me on Facebook, Ava Holly, public figure, or 4A Star, which is my company, the number 4A Star. We are condensing our website. Eventually it will be avaholly.com, just like yours is. Yet we're still working on that. So find me on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm at Ava's Eye Bags, and that's bags with a Z, and you'll find me there. And yeah.
Okay, very cool. And guys, you all know Geri Petito. I already gave you all my info in the beginning. www.geripetito.com. Okay, that's my website. And please subscribe to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. A lot of cool stuff. So Is there anything anyone feels they need to say before we close up?
I just want to say that I'm so honored to be here with you guys, with you, Marco, and with you, Ricardo. It's such a pleasure to meet you face to
Yes,
face.
right.
I know we interviewed
Is this the first
via
time
Zoom.
you guys have
First
met?
time we met face to face.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, we met online and on Zoom and on. He was on my show. You were there when we did him. We did with him on Zoom, right? So, so
cool.
just honored to be here with you guys. Thank you, Geri, for everything you have done, and I hope that in some small way we can inspire someone out there. So, thank you for letting us do that.
This is amazing. So, I love you, man. I got to see you after a few years, finally, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ricardo. You know how I feel about you, Ava. My sister from another mister. All right, here we go. All right, producer, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener